three key factors, maybe top factors that you look for in a startup.
Sure. Yeah. I should also mention this. I guess this would be one of them. Is what stage of company we're looking to work with, right? So we're not really. We wouldn't be super helpful in the ideation phase. I should say certainly would be helpful, but perhaps not differentiated from other folks who could also be helpful at that stage. So we're really not focusing on that. We're looking for companies that are either, they have a rough MVP together. They're testing the waters with the markets and have some initial market feedback. And if they don't have direct market feedback and revenues yet, at least they should have line of sight to that. So that's kind of the stage
there, and
yeah, so that we're looking for, right? There may be tweaking product market fit, right? So they're out there and they've had some signups, they've had some connections, maybe they've done a pilot or two, and they're getting that feedback. That's a great stage for us to be involved because we can really expand that universe of folks that can provide that feedback and help guide the product roadmap and the feature set and adjust that product market fit to really be able to connect with that market and the larger market. Because as a startup, sometimes you have a couple of connections, right? That someone who knows a couple of people and you can connect with that, but they may not be representative of the larger market, right? And in order to get, to the full TAM, right? You build this product and you may be getting a sliver. So I think we could really blow that out and get you connected with folks and do surveys and things like that. That'll help guide that product market fit. So that's kind of the stage of the company that we're looking for. Yeah, we are looking for folks that have a decent team, right? So we're not necessarily expecting to help you build that team, right? So the team should roughly be together. Of course, in any startup, there's going to be gaps, right? You don't have all of it, but you should have that team that can bring it to the next level, right? So that's, we're looking for a team, and the team doesn't have to be necessarily super experienced in terms of having multiple startups under their belt, right? But they need to know what they're doing in that position. They could be coming from industry, or they could have that educational background, or so forth. But they need to have that core team sort of put to bed already. Let's see, for other things, right? Obviously, we're going to be looking for market differentiators, right? I would say that the monthly selling stuff in a box for a subscription model, that's maybe not where it's at for us. Might be a good fit for other accelerators. But like I said before, we're looking for folks, unless it's a technology play, that are looking to sell into at least B2B, maybe mid-market and up, and have that kind of mindset. That's where I think we can leverage our consultants for maximum value for the startups.
Okay, good to know. What do you think is, like, if you were, to go through a deck, what usually pops out? I mean, you mentioned team and market differentiators. Is there anything else in the deck that really stands out to you, like right away? It's like, oh gosh, I wish they wouldn't do that, or boy, it's really lacking this.
Yeah. Focus, right? Look, one man's opinion, right? So take it with a grain of salt. Different people have different views. But in my opinion, focus is a huge differentiator between those who can be successful and those who can't. Are there 3 metrics that you can look at to determine whether your business is going to be successful or not, or is succeeding or not, right? That's really important. That's the kind of thing actually that we can help with. But the business, do you have 6,000 SKUs? Do you have 12 different markets, right? There are some people that come in with a legitimate good idea and they say, see, here's how it's going to work. We're going to sell to these people, and then we're going to get a subscription and get a back end cut from those people. And then we've got the providers over here that are going to lock in this way. And that could be great, but it's a very complex orchestration to actually execute on, right? So I tend to look for very straightforward businesses where there's a clear problem that a lot of people are having. Here's the very direct solution. It could be very innovative. It could be complex in the implementation of the technology, for example, right? But it plugs in a very straightforward way where you don't need 20 minutes to hear the pitch, right? You just hear, look, everybody's having this problem. You understand that problem? Oh, sure. Yeah, I can see that problem. Here's how we're going to solve it and plug in. And we're not going to force the industry to contort in order to plug into our business model, right? We've got a business model that fits nicely into what the industry understands and can intake and receive. So I would say if I had to pick one, it's that clarity and focus on having a direct business model.
Completely understand, and I really appreciate what you mentioned about the technology, because so many times a deck will get way too deep into the weeds of the technology behind whatever they're doing, as opposed to just like you said, here's the problem, here's our solution. We don't need to know all of that stuff going on down in the weeds of how the tech works. We just need to see that it's a great idea and that your tech is handling and taking care of that idea without knowing all the intricacies, because that can be done in the due diligence stage of vetting out the startup more. But in a pitch deck, yeah, you can get lost in those weeds really quick. So yeah, great advice.
Yeah, and it's really that business model, right, should be very direct. Not just in the deck, but I believe for business to be successful, and in fact to be successful quickly, right, you need to be able to scale it, and it needs to be very, very direct. You don't need 6 different markets to all come together to make it work, right?
Yeah, I like that. The focus, important for anything in life, is to have that focus, but especially for startups. So as we wrap this up, Justin, one thing that we like to ask is, for one thing, how can people reach out to you? Do you want people to go to your LinkedIn and we can get that posted, on this video? Do you want them? Is there an email they should reach out to you? What's the best way to reach out to you as your process is moving forward?
Yeah, right now the best way to reach me is just my Slalom email, and that's justin.cohen, Cohen, at slalom.com. And that's the way. We're still working through all of our, we don't have a website up yet. The mail, distribution list is not up yet. So just go ahead and email me. I am excited to start talking with startups. I've been, having some meetings about it, but looking forward to the floodgates opening and really getting my arms around some really great and innovative startups.
Well, I can tell you're not only passionate about this space, but you also have a deep understanding and knowledge of it, which is important, coming from the aspect of being a corporate venture arm and somebody that will be investing in these startups. So that's fantastic. So as these startups reach out to you, whether it's via email, LinkedIn, phone, if they find you at an event or whatever, what is the one thing that you would advise that startup to make the best initial impression on you? What's kind of that piece of advice? Hey, the best way for me to warm up to you is this. What are your thoughts on that?
Great question. I guess I would say the following. Aside from being a Steely Dan fan, I guess that's an instant connection right there. I would say be able to do a really solid elevator pitch, right? I think it would make a big impression if you could, in 5 minutes, say, this is what my business is about, and this is why I believe it'll be successful. Here are the components of it. Here's how it works. Here's how we're going to scale. And here's what we would do with, 120K. If you can do that, I think that really sets you apart from a lot of casual conversations where people are, still working through and can't really articulate. And if you have a hard time articulating the business, then perhaps the business isn't quite, put together as clearly and doesn't have the focus that I think would be really useful. So yeah, work on your elevator pitch and come up and talk with me. But I'm happy to talk to folks no matter what stage they're in. Really, even if it's still in ideation and not fully baked, there will be a time when it's put together, and we want to keep the dialogue open and stay in touch.
I always tell people it never hurts to plant seeds, even if you're not quite ready for whatever stage it might be within your startup and what type of funding you're looking for. Plant those early seeds so a relationship can get started. But, hey, this has been fantastic, speaking with you and finding out more about you and what Slalom, the corporate venture fund arm is going to be doing. And the accelerator, that's exciting. And again, greatly appreciate your time. And if anybody comes up and approaches you in the future and mentions Steely Dan, it means they watched this video.
That's right. That's
for
right.
the most part. So
yes.
that's fantastic. Justin, thank you for your time. And we
Very great talking with you.
The impact that Slalom, the accelerator, and the venture arm will be making for the startup ecosystem.